Well, for the people of this nation, the past is always alive, which perhaps explains our love of history and biography. From the famine and the Civil War to the economic collapse, from growing up in inner-city Dublin to faith, fatherhood, poverty and success, the books shortlisted this year embrace a truly wide spectrum of Irish experience. And to present the National Book Tokens Non-Fiction Book of the Year Award, please welcome Dublin City Librarian Margaret Hayes and Alex de Berry, Managing Director of National Book Tokens.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's my great pleasure to present the National Book Tokens Non-Fiction Book of the Year Award. And remember, a book token is not just for Christmas. Well, the shortlist for the National Book Tokens Non-Fiction Book of the Year is
The Rocky Road, Eamon Dunphy, Penguin Ireland. Fatal Path, Ronan Fanning, Faber and Faber. Growing Up So High, Sean O'Connor, Hachette Ireland. Staring at Lakes, Michael Harding, Hachette Ireland. The Famine Plot, Tim Pat Coogan, Palgrave Macmillan. And The Price of Power, Inside Ireland's Crisis Coalition, Pat Leahy, Penguin Ireland.
And the winner is Michael Harding for Staring at Lakes.
Now, the prostate, I have to tell you about it now. I'd like to thank the nurses that put in the tube. And the fellow who drove the JCB in under the tunnel to scoop it out. I write about small things like prostates, although my prostate was big. It was the size of an orange. And they got it smaller and then I'm better again. So that's the whole story. The other story, though, is apart from the fact that I'm deeply again honoured to be selected from a shortlist of such excellent books and such wonderful books, and I do feel humble about that. I would also like to, for a moment, own the award, because I've spent 30 years telling stories in plays or in books. I've told stories about the secrets in the church, and I've told stories about secrets in paramilitaries in the north. And I feel deeply that things like people are silenced all the time. I think of Pussy Riot at the moment, that double act, and so many other people down through history. And the power of telling stories is wonderful. And RTE and all the television stations in Ireland have done a powerful job over 30 or 40 years. You know, there's people who are no longer with us who are making programmes, and they will be remembered too for 50, 60 years as great storytellers. Because the powerful story really is your own story. In the sense, your own story is a fiction. I believe memoir is just as much a fictional, beautiful art form as it was in Proust's time. And I find that as you get older, you don't just tell stories that are big stories, but you find these small little things. Like, I have two cats, Ronnie and Roxy, based on the EastEnder characters, and one of them died. Ronnie died. And Roxy is depressed. No, she really is. And that's a very small thing. And I know, like, even on a serious small thing, but I remember when my mother was dying, and she could barely breathe. We couldn't take fluids or liquids, but she'd love a little bit of aero. The nurse would give her a little bit of aero on her tongue, and she'd suck it, and she got pleasure out of that. And those tiny little small things, as I've got older, I've found there's a huge spirit in them. There's a huge sense of us in those small things. And it's such a privilege to write about them. And it's an extraordinary privilege to be among the great writers in this room and to be honoured like this. So thank you so much.
Michael Harding, I didn't expect to see you again tonight.
No.
But you're back in the winner's chair.
Yeah.
For non-fiction book of the year.
Yeah.
So a double.
I'm absolutely humbled, I'm honoured, I'm delighted to win. I'm particularly delighted to win for non-fiction, because I think that I've all my life tried to tell real stories. I mean, if I was doing plays or if I was doing novels, as I have done, they're very close to the bone. You know, I've tried to tell secrets of, we'll say, what's on in the Catholic Church 30 years ago. I've tried to tell secrets of paramilitaries in the north. I've tried to tell stories like that, and ultimately I end up doing a memoir, which is really a fiction, because we tell our own stories to invent our future. You know, we hang our hope on who we are, and that's how we tell stories about ourselves. So I think memoir is fierce important. I revere people like Proust and all the ones up to the modern age who have written their own story as a memory. And it's just a great honour to get this. It's lovely.
And incidentally, Michael, we'll allow you a late night tonight and no early start, but how do you work? What's your modus operandi?
I walk. I really do. And walking kind of helped me, I think, out of melancholy or depression. I think that it also is a powerful tool in writing. You know, if I have a problem, I have a blockage in something I'm writing, and I go for a walk around Arigna, and you know those beautiful mountains in Arigna, I walk up there, take about 90 minutes or 2 hours, and I come back down, and the problem is solved. You're flowing again. I write every day. You know, I try, if I'm not on the road doing, you know, a show or doing something, I have a studio now in Arigna, and I write there every day. I love it, you know. I don't start maybe in the winter until 11 in the day, and I finish at 4, and in the summer sometimes I'll be up at, you know, 7.
And do you write on a word processor?
I use Apple. I love the machines because I'm a writer for 30 years. And so I remember manual typewriters, and I remember carbon copies, and I remember going into Xerox to, you know, copy manuscripts before you'd send them away to publishers, and it cost you hundreds of pounds.
Yes.
So the idea of pressing buttons and sending, you know, 300 words or 300 pages, I love that.
That's wonderful for you. Well, now in your walks, you'll have a trophy in either hand. Yeah.
I'll put books in between. They'll be like bookends.
Yes.
Yeah. But I think also, like, the Irish Times really did help me, because I'm 7 years now writing that little column, which is a kind of a memoir column. It's a column about the small things that happen in life. And the small things that happen are where there's huge stories. Yeah. So I just feel very grateful to be here, and it's been a wonderful night. It's lovely to feel the amount of writers with huge talent and the amount of people in publishing and bookshops and all the rest of it. And there genuinely is a sense of community out there in that room.
Well, Michael, once more, congratulations and well done.